Dear internet users, we continue our journey on Lofty Farm. You see the tilapia earlier. How do you watch? How do you watch over Nangbeto? Now, we have arrived at the very base where this great work begins in Agropolis in Lomé. This is the site, the basis of Lofty Farm. This is where tilapia larvae occur. They are stored in boats behind us. These boats contain tilapia broodstock which produced eggs. The larvae from these eggs are treated and 21 days later they are sent to Nangbeto. Welcome to our home in Agropolis on the Lofty Farm website. This is the production. We are in the process of sorting out the mono section. Currently, we collect the larvae that we treat after collection before we can classify them. They are sifting both the larvae and the waste. After this operation, they will go to classify them and they will do 3 weeks for sexing. Now, we will try to classify them according to the weight and then send them to Nangbeto in cages. The larvae come from the eggs that the breeders have laid. After hatching, we collect them twice a day, morning and evening. Do you see the blue dirt? This is where we do the monosexing for 3 weeks, which is 21 days. On the other side, the covered and uncovered part is where the breeders are. Each pond contains at least 400 spawners. This is 300 females and 100 males. We do the collection round every morning in all the basins. We expect 1 million fingerlings a month. The pipe that muddies the water is the vent pipe, the oxygen that we produce. Currently, there is not too much sun, so they need some oxygen because they do a lot of activities. We have about 15 people subdivided into teams working. There is also a night watch. Even though there is security, there are people who rotate at night to watch. In these basins are the fried freshly transferred from Lomé. When it ends the 21 days at Novella Star, it comes here for another 6 weeks. We have them 3 and 5 grams. We send for pre-grow out, and these are the juvenile cages. From there, after 10 grams, they are driven over the water. We put it here because the fry doesn't need too much depth. You can see it with me. Seeing how deep it is here in places, it can go like this or like that to the maximum. So for the fry, it doesn't need 50 centimeters of water depth. So when stored under these conditions, mortality is greatly reduced. That's why we store them here for a while before sending them. So how many fry are there in these ponds?
In each basin here, it exceeds at least 100,000.
Why does the water flow constantly?
This is the water that we are damming. You see, the color itself is the color of the dam water. This is to allow the adaptation of the fry. So we don't have anything else if it is not this one. We tried dams that have since been lost. So we have to shoot from there, 1 kilometer for here.
Where do the fry come from?
Well, the fry are produced by us at Novella Star. We have a hatchery that gives at least 2 million larvae per month. So a year we can produce at least 50 million fry. While for wholesalers, finished fish barely 6 million is needed. The rest is still there. We can sell to others, etc. So today, without lying to you in the sub-region, there is no larger hatchery than ours. From Senegal to Nigeria, there are none.
Truly, we see some empty ponds. Is it because there is no fry yet?
Yes, we just transferred them to the water. Also, sometimes you have to let them do something in the sun and then you put water in it.
How is the transfer made?
Oxygenation technique going on. We put it in plastic bags and put it in the food bag there. We oxygenate the fish and the water in the bag and tie. We transport from Vietnam to Lomé, and the fish are still alive. With this technique, we even send as far as Bamako. So this technique is very good. Here are the small rooms for the workers, prefabricated buildings. You can see it clearly. These are dormitories so that the workers are permanent on the side. The center is still under construction. There is still work in progress. These are the freezing tunnels. When the fish come out of the water, as you just said, this is where you come in and you disengage. Put them in 10 kilograms bins, and there are cuts. When the fish come out of the water, as you just said, this is where you come in and you disengage. We put them in these 10 kilogram bins, and there are cuts that carry them. In 24 hours, we freeze about 3 tons per item. When you start by working, it takes a month. It's been a week since we stopped freezing at the end of the month. These are the deep freezing boats. These are the supply boxes. It is not Jama, but it's Maja. We store them here. We take out the boxes here. This is how it is done.
There are two, this and that. Do you make ice cream here?
Yes, when we want to load the fish, we just let and it lays the ice cream. There is water that goes in, and then we take it to preserve the fish. In fact, that's what we use for Ghanaians. We are going to go for production. See the problems we have with soybeans. There is waste, pebbles in the soya beans. You have to sort it all out. If we do not sort the machine over, they will not be able to take. That we sort, and after sorting, we crush it here and then pressurize it there. The operation consists of crushing, boiling on the other side. He will demonstrate for you to see. It is true that the oil will come out at the same time, but soya doesn't have enough. So if we say it is going to come out, this is what comes out. There we have to rework that here. What they have finished is what they are breaking here, and then we put it in the machine there to grind. The real operation is this. He put it in kilos of 10. When we weigh 10 kilos here, we boil it there for 2 minutes. Then we send it to the press. 10 by 10, it becomes 100 kilos, and it comes out about 10 liters of oil, and it becomes a cake. We crush and then we send. So we are going to go to the mix. It means that all the time, because of the soya beans, we have to waste. It all comes to the mill here, to the ground. When everything is ground, we go to the other side. There is the rice bran, the mixture, corn flour. Look at this. It's a 50 kilogram mix. When they finish, one sent to the sift and the other sent to the other side. This is what will come out here. That is sent back to the other side to sift. It fits in the welders that now the finished product is here. This is the finished product. There is water. This is the dryer. So the dryer that takes, it goes around in it and goes to the other side. Look at the buoyancy. You see, if it doesn't float, it is no good because it might cheat us. Now it is coming out over here. It's the finished product, by the way. It makes the circuit. Here it's a color. This is where you put oil if you want. Then it comes out here. We bag it on the other side and then it's over. All that's left is to send it over the water. Where we do the bagging and weigh that. We started yesterday. There must be about 200 bags around here now. This is the finished product. Then we try to sow before sending it stored there. These are the raw materials: cassava chips, corn, soya beans, rice bran. So that's what we produce that is stored there. Today's production is for the day after tomorrow, and so on. It's only Sunday that we have from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. All other days are continuous days. We work 24 hours a day except Sundays, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have 3 shifts.
To get around this obstacle, we have just seen that the soybeans you have buy are soybeans that are not clean. Vendors often cheat by putting some sand in soybeans. What complicates the situation for you we are seeing how young people are sorting out. To get around this obstacle, you have invested in cooperatives to no longer be dependent on those who deliver the grain. Tell us a bit about this cooperative.
Well, we have put a lot of cooperatives to work. They used to do it in the past. People come to ask for it, but then you might not come back to look for them. Whereas we are direct consumers of the thing, so we have identified our needs. And in relation to these needs, we approach the peasants to ask them to produce us. And they are about 1,500 or 2,000 for 3,000 hectares. This means that for soya beans and corn for the end of the next harvest, we will have around 5,000 tons of both products. All you need is a maximum of 3,000 tons. But if it goes beyond that, it means that the thing is good. So currently, people at work supervised by our zone managers. We have 3 zones. The zone chiefs are there with their deputy chiefs. At least 5 supervisors were put in zones to work with the peasants. We are the ones who give them the seeds, the phyto products. Sometimes we plow for some 500 people.
How much area do they work?
3,000 hectares and more.
So they are not too far from the area here?
No, we are at most 7 kilometers from here, and most of them before Akpari. There are a few who are behind Akpari. So the people who are up to the dam here are the people who work for us.
Let's know how you are doing, because all we've seen here is a lot of investment. Are you able to recover your funds, return on investment? Do you have any support?
As you can see, it's really a great job. Government is in support of this investment. Well, you know, for any large investment project, you can start making profits right away. But to say that we are not doing is also not to say thank you to God. We do expect that this moment we continue to lack the means, because in the fields it requires other things of us. Today we have just ordered more than 3,000 or 5,000 tons of grain.
See where in that store can we store them?
We need to expand. If we don't expand and people come or produce, they won't keep in their homes. They will resell and we would be in deep trouble. This is a factor that still undermines us. For financing, there are local banks that support us. The government is doing a lot, because it is thanks to the government that the import of tilapia is banned today. We are the direct beneficiaries, even though it is for the well-being of all Togolese. For their health, it is we who win in any case. For agriculture, we have yet another partner called agribusiness. Agribusiness eventually benefited from certain strength of MIFA. There was a guarantee that MIFA had accompanied agribusiness to do. But we ourselves are still waiting for this funding that we have not yet received. We still need it, but it will come. You know, the banks are very slow.
We are supported by the state, and moreover, we have the support of the President of the Republic, who came here personally on January 13, 2020 to encourage us.
We are at the end of this interview. This discovery on this unique, ingenious and fabulous site. We met a man and his whole team. A man who did his business in the city and at the point decided to come and settle far from the city and do what we discovered. First with the means on board, and then by seeking the support of the banks. Today, it's a big factory here. It's an agropolis, as he just said, and that changes the daily life of neighbors and villagers. We saw how people who work on the site manage to earn a living. So I think these initiatives should be supported, encouraged, because Togo, as we often say, must be less dependent on the outside in terms of imports. We have all listened to the tilapia issue. We know that it has sparked a lot of controversy. Today, some of our compatriots are getting down to it producing. It's not yet really large production to cover all consumption, but over time it will happen. What we have seen here is quite extraordinary. We are at the end of this report. We thank all those who follow this report. From time to time, we will go out of Lome to try discover things that are done inside the country by our compatriots, things that contribute to the development of the country, and that is why we are here today in Nangbeto. We say thank you. I would like to thank the technical team, the cameraman Isdor, who is there in the shadows and who organized everything, the whole Lofty Farm team who accompanied us on the tour, on dry land here, who allowed us to discover all that place. Really, it's a center that you have to come and discover. I am convinced that the promoter continues to receive visitors, people on weekends, people who come here. There are few reserved rooms, people who want to get away from Lome a bit to come and eat some tilapia here. We really thank those who followed us and see you next time. Thank you.